And I told him, you're losing 10 cents a mile. Well, this was 30 years ago. And I said, why didn't you just figure this out and raise your prices 20 cents? Oh my gosh, I would have lost half my customers and my cash flow would have went to heck. I said, man, you're losing 10 cents every mile you drive. Your cash flow is going to heck no matter what you do. It drove me crazy that people didn't use common sense.
So one of the things I want to point out that to me is incredibly obvious. You don't have a degree in business.
Never took a business course.
But you're a businessman.
I am a total businessman now.
I think that most people who go into business don't know a thing about business. They get their degree in business. They don't truly understand business. And that's because business school doesn't teach you that deep drive that a person needs, that entrepreneurial spirit that truly is what it takes to run a company well. I see that in healthcare. We haven't got to your healthcare phase yet, but in the world of healthcare, you see doctors making decisions that aren't necessarily good business decisions. And it's because they're not an entrepreneur. They may be a great doctor, but they shouldn't be running the business. And you had something inside you, this seed that germinated from the time you, I believe, were sitting on those tractors, even before that probably, that gave you this deep confidence and this purpose that you knew that if you put your hands to something and your mind to it, you were going to solve that problem. And that key of being able to solve a problem is you have absolute faith in your ability there.
Absolutely. Some problems can't be solved.
And you don't always get it right.
Never.
You don't always get it right.
That's so important to say. So I did 38 bankruptcies. I managed to only save 13 of them, 14 of them, whatever the number was. Some people would quit and never go back to that game because, oh my gosh, I failed. No, I learned. Every one of those, I recognized what went wrong before I got there and what I couldn't change after I got there. And I had to make sound business decisions. One of the biggest business decisions that was quite easy to make was one involving honesty. And when I had most of the businesses, I'd say more than 60 or 70% of them, we kept the previous owner on for at least some period of time, some of them for a long time. But it all depended on the mindset of that person. If they wanted to continue to run the company as they had ran it, or to help us or direct us, then they were not useful at all. I needed them out of there because they poisoned everybody else. And but the ones that wanted to change, would listen to change, not fight you on change, then they were successful.
So what I want to do is we're going to take just a short break and we're going to introduce one of our sponsors for our show. And when we come back, I want to ask you about some of the biggest mistake or learning moments you've used to jettison yourself forward through mistakes that you've made. Because as you said, when we failed at times, it gives us more information than we had before if we had just found success. So one of our sponsors is Shenandoah Joe Coffee, and they have a special blend. It's called Chadcasters, and it's made specially for us. And this is an amazing blend of coffee. It's a medium to dark blend. It has a more rich finish to it, and I personally am so excited about offering this. If you go to shenandoahjoe.com and you go to their blends and you look up Chadcasters and you order it, I think you're going to absolutely love it. It sure helps support our show and what Chad and I are doing. And
yeah, we'll put that link in the notes as well.
Yeah.
So you can get to it very easily.
All right, Ward. Now take us down this path. What do you mind sharing a failure you went through that actually really caused you a course correction in your life or taught you something that was so valuable that you still use it today?
Oh, I think I've already said it. Surrounding myself with the right kind of people, both Christians and smart business people and people with character. I had when I've left out, of course, a lot of history,
Yeah.
but I did have more than just one job. And in some of those jobs, I worked for people that I just thought the world of. They had high moral character, sound decision-making practices, et cetera, et cetera. I also worked for a couple of people that just were not morally sound. And I have to admit that when you're around people that aren't morally sound, whether it's your decision or you're forced to do it, and I had both situations, you make bad decisions. And I think everybody does. I mean, we all live. And one of the things I tell my children is, you gotta, maybe today you failed at something and you're not proud of yourself or whatever, but, or you just made a bad decision business wise or economics or whatever. That doesn't mean you need to keep making those same decisions. Tomorrow or today, I sit back and I reflect upon what yesterday was. And I say, I didn't like that. Would I like that if somebody did it to me? Or was that a bad economic decision that's going to affect my checkbook or whatever? I mean, you have to maybe set your own guidelines in life, but I have done that my whole life. Could I be better today than I was yesterday? And there's absolutely no question. And you never reach perfection.
No.
I mean, that isn't possible, as we all know. But you can certainly be a good human being if you keep that attitude up. So failures. So I'm going to repeat your question. I've kind of gotten off track here.
No, a particular business thing that maybe went south for you that you learned so much from that it really jettisoned you forward.
The bank, the first business that was broke when I went there, that was a big mistake on my part. Had I been smarter, in hindsight, it was a great thing. At the time, I looked at it and I thought, oh my gosh, I left a great job to do this, and sold my house. My family's moving out here. We may not be in business 2 weeks from now, and so, but wow, what a learning curve! So in all the jobs I'd had before, I didn't have banking responsibility. I didn't have all employment, all staffing issues, maybe is a better way to say it, all legal responsibility. As president of the company, the owners were absentee farmers in Southwest Kansas. And it was an amazing learning curve. All of a sudden I had to deal with the manufacturers of product that didn't want to ship to us. I had to deal with bankers. They were as inadequate in their business skills as I was. They didn't have a banking relationship of any kind. It wasn't like I could go to the bank and use a revolving line of credit. I remember the question. I asked the bookkeeper, well, who's our bank and do we have a revolving line of credit? So I was a step ahead maybe of them. And she said, what's that? I'm like, uh-oh, we got real problems. The family did, I give them credit, family did step up, put money in it, and managed to keep us going. But that was a education by fire, if you want to call it that. Every day was, we didn't have a benefit package, so employees were leaving for other jobs. We didn't have health care. We didn't have a 401k. So all of a sudden I'm thrown into, I've got to figure out what a 401k is. And work with vendors to get that done. The healthcare. All of a sudden, I'm negotiating with insurers to buy healthcare, and what can we really afford? We're broke. We don't have any money. How can we afford anything? But reality was we got the business turned around. We started making some money, and we started providing benefits, and started hiring better people. I mean, that was key. One of the things as an employer of literally several thousand people in my life that I've learned is most people are good, and they really not an awful lot of people want to be self-employed. There's a huge number of people that want to go to work at 8 o'clock, go home at 5, go fishing, not worry about coming back tomorrow and is there a job. But they still want a job, and they want to be successful at it. And I've found several steps in that. One is find a job you like. You'll naturally be more successful at it. And a lot of the people I don't know any nice way to say it other than I fired. I tried counseling them. You don't like it here. You don't like me. You don't like the crew. You don't like
the job.
You don't like much about it. Why would you want to stay? You're not being successful. Go out, think about it, find a job that you want that's going to make you successful, and in your own mind. And I think I helped a few people do that. So that's one critical thing that I recognize, that I put people in the right place that want to be there, get them successful. Well, I had several people that actually went out and started their own businesses after being fired, and I thought that was wonderful. I loved seeing them succeed.
In my practice, over the years, I've had amazing people work at my front desk, whether it was the team at the front desk or my office managers or whatever. And one of the things I always wanted to do was build them up and teach them core business knowledge so that they can go on. And it's amazing. When I go back and look now, I have one that's a CFO of a major LED company, and she was my office manager for, I think, 13 years or something. That's just incredible to think. She got a degree in speech pathology, and now she's a CFO. It's kind of like you got a degree in biochemistry, and you're on boards of major businesses. You do all of these business things not related to your major.
Exactly my point.
Yeah. And I always use this idea. You can never train personality, but you can train skills. People like your idea. I know I can do it because I believe in my ability to learn and do. And that's what I wanted to hire, somebody with that mindset.
That's what an interesting comment. I've had so many people work for me that were so smart, so capable, that I couldn't convince. They come, back up just a little bit, they come to this why in the road. And the why on the road is, here's this guaranteed salary over here, and I'm going to go left because my wife's got a job and she's making X, and I'm making X, and we're happy. But they're so smart, and they probably know the business maybe better than I do. But here's the why. The other side of the why is the entrepreneur side, where I can take some risk and maybe in the end develop more independence, more long-term satisfaction by taking some risk and investing in myself. That's what I've always called it. And you take the right side, you're investing in yourself. You take the left side, you're allowing somebody else to make the decision for you.
How many of your kids are entrepreneurs?
All of them.
All of them, yeah.
I have my youngest daughter is a fabulous entrepreneur with dogs. Created this breed, kind of, if you will, and has done a fabulous job of marketing them worldwide. I'm really proud of her. My oldest daughter is Tamara Day, and she has her own show on HGTV. Mm-hmm. Well, it's on the Magnolia Network right now.
And it's called Bargain Mansions,
Bargain Mansions,
in which you appear on.
which I appear on every